Fili-Busted Shutdown over. Well, I mean, almost. And then they have to do a procedural vote, and then all these swamp monsters have to get up there and make their statements and like pretend like they cared the whole time and run for re-election and get some camera face time, blah, 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 whatever. It's over. So the one takeaway and the question we all as Americans have to ask ourselves is, what was that all about? I'll tell you what it's all about. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This could have ended close to 60 days ago, for God's sakes, because this was all about, well, it was about something, political power. And it's all about illegal immigration. You knew that from the start. You know it now. It was just confirmed. But they're going to lie to you all week long and tell you it wasn't. But that's okay. You know better. Happy back from the weekend. I hope you made it through okay. Thanks for finding me in the Wicked Radio live stream and podcast, all channels, including your favorite audio platforms. Like, follow, share. You know the deal. We're also going to talk about NFL Trump. So President Trump, as you might have seen, probably saw the video by now. He was at the Lions-Commanders game on Sunday in Washington, D.C., and at halftime he swore in some new recruits to our military service. And he got booed resoundingly by the crowd, which was interesting. But then he did something even more interesting. He hung out and he talked to the broadcast crew. And, oh, the reaction to that. Oh, my God. I will tell you, nobody was more upset about that than local yokel sports writers and commentators throughout the country, all the different markets, because I follow a lot of them. If you think the news media is bad, I will tell you where woke still exists. It's in sports news media. They were so upset about this. And here's my favorite story of the day. We'll wrap up today with, I love this Target story. Because as we all know, we're in the holiday season now. It's Christmas season. If you've been to any retail store, and it actually started before Halloween. It's earlier and earlier. What Target is doing now with their Jolly requirement, I love so much because it has everything. It says so much about customer service, people complaining about anything and everything, and the reaction to this so far. I love this story. We'll tell you about that, too, coming up. But let's get right to it. Let's go to CNN as the news broke last night. I haven't heard CNN this upset since President Trump was reelected.
Big moment here. 7th Democratic senators, and we'll look to see. Fetterman just now voted 8, I am told. He makes the 8th senator, so we do have at least 60 Senate votes we expect here. This vote is still open. It's always possible someone could change their vote. Don't expect that to happen, though. Expect there to be at least 60 votes. The supermajority to break a Democratic-led filibuster, move towards final passage as soon as tonight or potentially early this week, Jess.
That is...
Well... there you go. And he said it right there, and I'm glad he actually did. So this doesn't like automatically happen, and all of a sudden, flights aren't delayed anymore, and you get your SBA loan, and everything else can happen, and, federal workers are paid. It takes a little bit of time or procedural votes and all that crap, so it's a week-long process, but still. This was a great element of this. They had to wait to get the final vote tally last night, because how about this guy? Senator John Cornyn wasn't there. They had to fly him in. To make the vote. He wasn't even in town. Whatever. Let's take the good news where it is. But they're not taking it as such good news over there at CNN and MSNBC. We just heard from CNN. Let's get to another panel. This shows you everything you need to know, and then we'll get off this topic. But this tells you everything they need to know about who wanted this shutdown, what it was for, and who they're trying to
We spoke about this earlier, but it's strange, Dean, to go back to the original sort of part of this conversation of whether he is a good deal maker. I mean, in a way, it seems like the president is kind of getting what he wanted 40 days ago when all this started. He was out there saying that, this is all about Democrats trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. He just said that to reporters moments ago, repeated that refrain that Democrats had actually very successfully pushed back against. Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot. And now here he is winning again? How did he do it?
They truly don't get it. They really don't. Because here's the thing. Is like CNN is one thing. There's always that comparison between of CNN and MSNBC. CNN are paid they know they're lying. They know what they're doing. The MSNBC folks, that's a completely different story. They truly don't understand what's happening. And a lot of them are truly, and I mean this, truly nuts. They're insane. That lady right there doesn't understand it. First of all, the part of that that's not true at all is President never said that Republicans are getting hurt by this. He used the weapon of getting rid of the filibuster to get this done, which they still should do, by the way, to get that done. And she went on to say, it was a long, long clip. I wasn't going to torture you through that lady all morning long. She went on to say, we know that the American people were fully in support of this shutdown. No, they weren't. They weren't at all. This shows you how insulated they are. And also, they're only believing their own internal polling according to their own sources where they actually thought the American people were in support of this. Well over 2 weeks ago, about halfway through this shutdown, the American people started to realize very, very quickly who was responsible for this. This was the Democrat shutdown. This was the Chuck Schumer shutdown. And what was it all for at the end of all of this? 100%. Even though they had a full-scale assault, media assault, information assault, to try to tell you that this was not about giving health care to illegals. Of course it was. Of course it was. Because the Democrat Party cannot exist without illegals. That's the whole thing, and that's why they freaked out when President Trump started to threaten the Republican senators to get rid of the filibuster. Because if you do that, what you can do is vote in national voter ID. That shakes Democrats to the core, because then it's over. If we get that in this country, they can't exist. Well, how we knew them. They cannot exist. They can't exist without cheating. That's what this was about. But as upset as CNN was, MSNBC is just completely lost in a bubble. Like they only listen to their own internal newsroom sources, completely clueless on what this was all about. Completely clueless. But let's take it for what it was. So the pain, here's the big takeaway. This is what we all should start to realize once we ask the initial question. The initial question obviously was what we're all asking today as we go about our lives, just trying to be good citizens. Well, what was that all about? Well, now that we know what that was all about, to inflict as much pain on the American people as possible. That's what the Democrat shutdown was all about. Now, what the realization and the takeaway we all have to have, and this is really important, is if they were willing to do this it wound up being the second longest shutdown in history, I think, wasn't it? If they were willing to do this with nothing gained, but inflicting pain on the American people, what else are they willing to do? So all this talk this past week that Trump was saying out there to get this done by saying, if they get in power again, they're gonna take you home, they're gonna do this, they're gonna throw us all in jail, they're gonna pack the court, they're gonna open the border. Now that he said that in a hyperbolic kind of way, do you doubt it? Do we sit here today and do we doubt what they are capable of for political revenge? They just shut down this country and inflicted harm and pain on the American people. What else are they capable of? Everything is your answer. That's what they're capable of. This should be your telltale sign that they'll do anything if they get in power again. That's why I changed my mind. I don't know about you. You have to make up your own mind. I am fully in favor of getting rid of the filibuster now. You have to pass this agenda. You have to pass national voter ID. You have to get that done. You have to do something to fix the healthcare crisis in this country, and all this stuff could be done. You have to get it done. Here's the other thing, too. If I think this was, I hope, they may be too stupid and wimpy to understand it, but I hope the Republicans, I hope they understand what this was as well. Everybody sees this as an opportunity to get this agenda done. They were given a mandate. They were given a mandate to fix this country, secure the border, good job on that, to implement affordability into our economy again, pay down the debt, and get this done. If they don't, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered in the midterms, absolutely slaughtered. That's why you got to get rid of the filibuster. If they don't start to actually make young people in this country feel like they have a shot, getting a home, paying bills, raising a family, maybe having some other property, you're going to get killed in the midterms. These wimpy, stupid Republicans, I'm telling you, if they don't follow the agenda and wake up and start to get tough, they are going to get killed, and then we all pay the price. If this wasn't their wake-up call, I don't know what is. So maybe you thought Trump last week it was all hyperbole and, he's just stomping up and down about the filibuster. I tend to believe him now. They're capable of anything, and this was our proof. We just lived it for over a month. So there you go. Speaking of Trump, well, it was NFL Trump yesterday. I've said this so many times. I swear to God, his favorite thing are sports. I think nothing brightens him up except for good poll results and winning elections. Like when he has like some sort of a national championship team at the White House, and he loves the sports memorabilia. I'm telling you, his presidential library, wherever and whenever it happens, is going to look like a sports bar with all this stuff. He just loved this kind of stuff. So it didn't take a lot to twist his arm to get him to the Commanders, Washington, formerly Redskins, Commanders-Lions game in Washington, D.C., and he did something pretty special at halftime where he swore in a bunch of new recruits to join our military service. Good for them. Good for him for doing it. But this is another telltale sign. What's your takeaway on this? So here he is in the booth swearing in new soldiers to the military. What you're going to hear here in the audio, more than him, are boos from the crowd. Almost the entire stadium booing him. My takeaway was this. People hate Trump so much they're willing to boo as new young people are willing to commit to serving our country. You should start to pay attention.
I, and say your name, do solemnly swear.
And don't get it twisted. They weren't cheers. They were boos. Now, again, it was in Washington, D.C. Maybe that'll tell you something. It tells me that the most extreme of the left, and there's a lot of them these days, we all know that, are willing to erupt in boos in a stadium as young people are getting sworn into their military service just because they hate him so much. I guess that's the overall takeaway. What are they capable of? Everything. But then he went into the booth and talked to Fox at halftime. It's been done by other presidents before, but if you listen to local sports reporters and commentators and bloggers and podcasters, oh, they're so horrified. Oh, they're like, this has never been done. Fox is getting all kinds of heat for this, but I thought overall it was very professional. It was very good. And I'll tell you why I think it's
Mr. President, thanks so much for joining us. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Veterans Day weekend, right. The NFL salute to service. How meaningful is it for you to be here today? You just took part in the halftime ceremony honoring the military.
Well, we just swore in a tremendous group of young people, and that was an honor, and they are just fantastic, and they love. You know, our recruitment's been record-setting since...
It went into a little bit of numbers there. You know, we're doing great. The recruitment's been fantastic. I think he wrapped it up by saying it was a disaster before. So, of course, it's going to get a little political. He's the president, for God's sakes. He's in the world of politics now. So, this went on. I saw it live. I was watching it. I thought it was well done. I thought broadcasters in the booth did a nice job. It was nice and clean, professional. Oh, my God, the reaction and the heat that Fox is taking for this. I can imagine right now, live as we did a live stream, what the ESPN talking head shows are talking about. If you think news media is bad and woke and corrupt and propagandized, pay attention to sports media and what's happened to it. It is absolutely, completely awful, which explains why all the local yokels and all the bloggers and podcasters and commentators, they're all blasting. But it was absolute. These are some, just paraphrasing, but these are some of the things I read last night on X. It is absolutely despicable for Fox to politicize a broadcast of an NFL game. Really? Really? The same exact people who said nothing, made no comments whatsoever when they were kneeling during the national anthem. Remember those 2 seasons? Remember the Black Lives Matter painted in the end zone? Remember that? The whole Colin Kaepernick thing? All of that. And also, by the way, all the other presidents who have been in broadcast, Army-Navy game. I know Obama's done it. I think they tried to wheel Biden out for one of these too or something like that. I know Clinton's done it, Bush. No comment whatsoever. But because it's this guy, but because it's Trump, they're so, oh, how dare you? How dare you do this to our national sport? You know what? Shut up. Just shut up with that. No one cares what you think anymore with your opinion. Nobody. Let the guy do what he does. And it's interesting now, too, because they're the loudest voices on the left, because they can still, to this day, believe it or not, control the media and digital media, too. You'd think that they run the narrative, and that's the overwhelming narrative on this. I wouldn't buy it. Here's another example. Same game. Slightly just after he was in the broadcast booth. Now, this is mostly a visual. I'll describe it for you audio podcast only listeners. Here's a touchdown. Here's the play call by the Lions. They scored. And you'll see here, and I'll describe it, the touchdown dance they do. Friends, it's the Trump dance. And they pointed to the booth where he was, watching it live. This should tell you that if NFL players are willing to do that, so is most of the country.
on the slant to St. Brown. He is in for a Lions touchdown.
A point to the booth to President Trump, and not one guy, not one wide receiver, 4 or 5 offensive players doing the Trump dance. I bet you enjoyed that more than anything of the entire game because you know we saw it. Anyway, all right, here's my favorite story of the day. I think because it encapsulates everything. Love it. First of all, we're in the Christmas season. You know that. We're in November. And retail, if you've been to a retail store from any time in October to now, you know you've faced an onslaught of Christmas stuff. And I know it's a cultural debate. Is it too early? But people love Christmas. And despite the complaints, they love the holiday shopping season. They do. That's what I've found in my experience. But I love this because it talks about current state of customer service. And it also talks about the current state of, I call them local, yokel news commentators. These two are out of NBC9 in Denver. So the story is this, and they'll explain it to you. It's a long video, but you need to see these two react to it at the end. Target has a new policy. This is honest to God true. Reported by Bloomberg and I think the Wall Street Journal and everybody else. Target has a policy in place now where their workers are going to have to be jolly. All right. What's that mean? It means if they're within 10 feet of somebody, they're going to have to smile or wave or say hello. This is an actual honest to God policy. Now ask yourself why. It's because they're not doing this, pick this policy out of a hat. It's because obviously they had some internal studies and they had some customer surveys where they said, you know what? It's not as friendly as it is. And anybody that's been in retail for the past, 10, 15 years has noticed the exact same thing too. Now, I love retail workers. I know it's a tough job. I did it in college too. I understand it. But I think we can all agree the state of customer service sucks these days for a multitude of reasons. Well, Target's trying to do something about it. These two found something to complain about that. Long story, but you got to get the details and listen to and watch their reaction.
Is a new jolly requirement at Target. Store employees now are required to smile if they were within 10 feet of a shopper.
Okay.
They have to make eye contact and wave or greet the customer. And if they're within 4 feet, the employee should ask if the customer needs help. Bloomberg reports this is part of a new guidance program from Target with an incoming CEO, well, that explains it right there, who is looking to make stores more hospitable.
Yeah.
This, to me, Sam, sounds like a solution in search of a problem, because I have never heard anyone complain that the people at Target aren't kind enough to them. What?
No. And first of all, for me, that's almost too much.
Yeah, I don't want to engage that much.
I'll feel awkward walking around and if someone's like,
Everybody's going to walk around with like tape measures, be like, 4 feet, hi, can I help? I'm with
I
you.
feel bad for them too. Like they shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. Like this feels like one person complained in a complaint box and maybe it was like a teenage worker who just was like learning their way around the store. I don't know. I'm sorry if you've had this bad experience. Mostly I'm sorry to Target employees because that is so not necessary.
No. And
like
have you ever
said,
been at one of these
stores and asked for help and didn't get it?
No, everyone's been so kind and so helpful. So
sorry.
First of all, where the hell are you shopping? I guess they're based in Denver or whatever. Maybe you have the friendliest customer service people on earth. And again, I love retail workers, and I know it's a tough job, and I get that it's tough. But here we have, and I will guarantee you, first of all, that these two cacklers always complain about customer service. I will guarantee it. But something actually gets done about it. You actually have a retailer responding to the consumer base and saying, you know what, we're gonna make sure that we're friendlier and we're jollier here, especially during the Christmas season. We're gonna go above and beyond to try to make sure that we provide good customer service to the people kind enough to give us their money and shop at our store. Nope, these two cackling about complaining about it. Did they actually? Well, that explains it right there. New CEO. That's too much. It's too weird. Are you freaking kidding me? You know what it also tells me, honestly? How bad is it? What was the actual state of customer service that a major retailer had to institute a policy where, you know what? We're going to have to actually be friendly. This is what a big part of the job is, where they actually had to say this and make it a rule. That tells you right there how bad customer service has fallen in our country. But here, I congratulate Target for doing this. I really do, to go above and beyond. But people will find a reason to complain, especially these two. I mean, this is perfect. And you know what? It summarizes perfectly local news. Every market, Denver's no different. They're the same. You have the equivalent of these two in every single TV market in the world. Every single one of them. You can find two people like this. They'll do a friendly feel-good story, and they'll be like... Local TV news did this to themselves. This is why nobody watches anymore. There's your example. These two right there. Well, I think it's weird being friendly to customers. Oh, I'm sorry if you're going through that. Oh my God. And if you don't think customer service was bad, why would a major retailer have to come up with a rule to make it a little bit better? Oh, I'm sorry you have to smile and be jolly at your customers who are spending their hard-earned dollars at Target. Oh, I'm sorry to put you out like that. You know what? I'm going to congratulate Target for doing this. First of all, I'm going to smile back. I'm going to make note of the employees that smile at me and actually try to, make an effort throughout this rule. I'm going to try. And you know what else? I'm going to contact the local manager and hopefully somebody, I swear to God, somebody at Target, and I'm going to say, thank you for your new customer rule. I love it. It made my shopping experience and my Christmas season even better. That's what I'm going to do because I want to encourage it to douse the opinions of local yokel cackling women like that at NBC 9 in Denver. Good for you, Target. You go. All right. Sorry. A little worked up there. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Again, big takeaway. This is on the serious side of things. What was that shutdown all about now that it's essentially over? Political power and games, that's all. But here's the real takeaway that we all have to understand. If they're willing to do that, to inflict pain on the American people, they're capable of anything. Bust the filibuster. Anyway, thanks for finding me. And it's only Monday. Whew. Wicked Radio live stream, podcast version, the replay, all channels, and also the audio podcast. Subscribe, download, share, like, follow, you know the deal. All that good stuff, all your favorite platforms. Most importantly, make it a wicked awesome Monday. Who knows what's going to be in the news tomorrow, but we'll talk about it. Talk to you then.